I'm the Hooded Lid and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a couple of different looks on the Viseart palette. Boom! So today I thought we'd just go in with the browns. I don't know, what else there is to do here, and that might be a problem for this palette. I did the green and the purple yesterday, and while the look was really nice, the purple kind of faded away and the green didn't look too green once I blended it out. It was just a haze of color. I liked the color, but it wasn't reading olive. So today I'm going to do some of the browns and I might bring the orange in. I mentioned yesterday there's really not a transition shade in here, but I'm going to try to transition with this. That's also what I call pushing my hood back a little bit. All right, that's kind of a lot. I'm going to move you in. All right, so there's my transition, pushing my hood back, and let's take a look at what we're going to do next. So this is the color story that we're working with, and I can imagine how these browns will all kind of bleed into each other and look a little muddy, especially if you are hooded and everything transfers and moves all around. I'm going to go for the cooler color. Well, this applied it perfectly. Let's keep on going. I'm just using this in circular motions around my eyeball, where I would actually have a crease if I didn't have a hood. And right here where I have a fat bit, it always looks uneven because it protrudes a little bit, so that looks lighter, and then right on the other side of it looks darker. There's nothing I can do about that. This is really dense and small. I'm going to go in with the same color and kind of use it like a liner. And then connect it up. So I'm kind of doing the traditional outer V that most people do. All right, this is a basic, gets you out of the house. It's not too much. You can absolutely wear this to work. A little tight line, a little bit mascara, and you're good to go. I do feel like it's pulling my eyes down, especially on this side. This is why the traditional V doesn't really work for me. So I'm going to get my favorite tool and Muji, and I'm going to try to clean this up. So I relax my lid, I look at where that darkness is hanging lower than I want it to go, and then I lift my lid and kind of take that away. But I still feel it's dragging me down, so I want to bring the color more like this. I'm not putting anything on this, I'm just going to take I'm just trying to manipulate what's already here. And so where most people can do this rounded thing around their eyeball, that tends to bring a hooded lid, or my kind of hooded lid, down. So for me, to my eyes, this is now not pulling down as much. It's lifting up a little bit. It is looking like a very smoky eye. This could definitely go out at night if you add one of these shimmers. Let's try it. I'm not looking for an evening look right now, but I'm going to dip into this gold. It's super gold. Oh, I have to say, these shimmers, foils, whatever you want to call them, they're pretty nice. Now when the eyes open, you can't really see this on my lid, but it is going to transfer up here for sure. Teeny little angle brush so I can really get that right in here, because that's the only way it's going to be visible to other people when my eyes are open. Since I got some accidentally on this eye, I'm just going to even it up on this one. And now I'm going to take the Hakuhodo and just blend everything so the edges are pretty soft, but I have to say, these blend very, very nicely. I do think with this one, this particular palette and these particular colors, it's best to keep it just to 2 shades. You don't want to put 4 shades in here because I think that they will muddy up. They're too close to each other. Just for giggles, I'm going to try this orange one over the gold because I know that gold's going to end up in my hood. Pretty. And I'm going to take my little Smith and just blend the edges on that. I think this is pretty, except for this gold. This look could actually get you out of the house even though it's quite high and edges on smoky. I'm going to do my eyebrows, line, mascara, and come back with the final look. Just fixing this with a little bit of concealer. Same thing on this side. Alright, I've done the brows, but I've decided I didn't want to do any tight lining or mascara because the color is so high up on my lid. It's verging on a smoky look, and I think if I add those things, it's really going to take this into evening as opposed to day. And as it is, with this gold down here, I'm really pushing it. So I'm going to be back in a few hours, maybe 4, and see how this adheres to the skin. See you in 4. I am back, and it's 4:15. No more sun coming out of here, and I'm sorry I can't do much about this light right now. I'm waiting for some new bulbs to come in so I can put some light over on this side soon. It's a process. The eye look has hung on. I added some yellow here from another palette just to, I don't know, punch it up. I was in the mood. But on the main, I would say that this has held on very, very nicely, with the exception of the orange color. The orange is still there, but it's a lot less than when I first applied it. I don't know if this is because I applied it with my finger and I didn't really, maybe I didn't buff it in enough, really work it in, or if it's because it's a deep and vibrant color. I kind of think I had the same thing happen with the purple yesterday. So this purple right here also faded away after a few hours. And this one is now fading away after a few hours. And after a few hours, I mean, I was initially going to check back in with you 4 hours later, but instead I'm checking back with you 6 hours later, which is great because, you know, if you're working in an office, you need to wear this makeup for probably 9 hours. You're working an 8-hour day plus lunch plus traffic, back and forth. It adds up. I'm going to pull in so you can get a better idea of what's going on. And this is as close as I can go and remain in focus. And honestly, I feel the urge to blend it. So I'm just going to take my Hakuhodo and blend in the crease area a little bit. Honestly, if I were in an office situation right now, I would just keep a beauty blender and a couple of brushes in the office so I can fix things up, just so I don't look so tragic by the end of the day. And that's about it for this one. I do like the look. It's not my wheelhouse. I don't go for the browns and oranges, but I have to say, I like this a lot and I would do it again. It applied nicely, it blended nicely, it's holding on nicely, with the exception of the more vivid colors. And tomorrow we'll look at a couple more colors. Alright, it is time for day 3 of the Viseart palette, and I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. The only thing really left for me to do is this dark, dark color and this color. And I'm not in the mood for a dark look. And I really don't know, with my kind of lid, how I can use especially this blue. And then I started to think, why did they put this color in here? Who uses that kind of color? I'm flummoxed. On a scale of 1 to 10 of how much I do not want to touch these colors, 15. That's me. That's where I'm at. But the truth is, you know, if only the brown is really, really useful to me, then this palette probably isn't a keeper. And for some reason, I'm really excited about this palette. I'm really liking it, even though there's not much variety in it. So let's just go over the color story. So here's the color story, the second row. I had to double swatch all of them because they weren't swatching very well. My hands could be a little moist, but I don't think they are. I have no idea what to do with this. I truly, truly don't. If you have a normal lid, outer corner deepening kind of a situation, or because you can really do that outer third in a smoky manner, where if I were to do that, it would be beyond smoky. It would be a Halloween makeup. But if you have a lid that is not hooded, you could probably do like outer third all together, winging out, and then go in with, well, maybe this, or maybe the purple, this one here. I just feel for my eye type, this is a hard one to do. So I'm probably going to, I don't know. And it's not that I haven't been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this since yesterday. What am I going to do with this color? And I did something last night before I went to bed, and I was like, wow, that's big, that big. So let's just rein it in, not panic too much. It's weird that I would panic over eyeshadow, and just do some transition work first from right here. Okay, so there's a kind of a soft transition going on, a little bit of receding of the hood, and now I want to leave. I think I'm having like a post-something syndrome because of the Metropolis palette, honestly, because those dark colors were so difficult for me. I don't want to touch another one. So I think, I mean, I can't even choose what brush I want. I'm afraid of a 217. You know something's wrong when you're afraid of a brush. I'm going to do this kind of dense, let's see. You know what? Oh, I just remembered a look that I saw. Aha. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do, years ago, NARS did an Erdem collaboration. And one of the colors was this dark, dark navy, and I saw one of the NARS makeup artists online. She's like one of those ambassador kind of people, travels around the world, is probably involved with the development. I can't remember her name, and she only has a few videos up, but she just packed this color, which is very much like this, on. Just packed it, packed it, and packed it, and packed it. Mind you, the woman she was packing it on wasn't hooded, but looked really beautiful. I can't remember what else she did. so, you know, I'm inspired, but I don't remember what else she did. And I'm just feeling where my eyeball is. What it looks like when I open my eye will be another story, and no doubt there will be cleanup needed already. It's falling out. Do I look like I have a black eye? Okay, so some of the color is seen when someone's looking at me when my eyes are open, so that's one. Good, good, good. I'm not going to blend this too much. I'm just going over the edge very softly, but honestly, it doesn't really, really need it. I think I'm going to transition with this olive color. And I was thinking, because in the Metropolis palette, those blues and greens, they say they're creamy CP, which I don't know. They don't look matte to me. That's what I'm trying to get to. And this blue, if nothing else, will provide me a matte in that color range. So it might work well with Metropolis palette. It might not be an either or. But you have to kind of listen to your gut, and my gut is saying, ugh, that palette. You know, it's like I don't want to deal with it anymore. I mean, how many times have you bought a palette where you thought this is so beautiful and you tried it and you got a couple of looks you liked, but other things that really frustrated you, and inside you were just going, ugh, you see that palette and you're like, no, I don't want to touch it. That's kind of how I feel about it. What's so interesting to me is my eyes are hazel and they have a lot of green in them, but sometimes it looks like the rim around the iris is blue, like this kind of blue. And this combination is really interesting on my eyeball. I'm going to pull you in a little bit. Hello. So I use that khaki as a transition, and then I'm just kind of very lightly going around to blend everything out. I do feel the inner is really too dark, so I'm going to go with a little concealer and hope that it doesn't combine with the shadow. Hope springs eternal. Okay, so that would be look number 1. I think I'm going to do a different look on this eye. I'm going to take it with a fluffy brush and see what happens. But let's see. This actually is applying very nicely with a fluffy brush. Who would have thunk it? And this is synthetic. I'm going to pull it out a little bit. And remember, I have a fat pad right here, so stuff doesn't adhere as well, and even if it is adhering, because it does, just not as well, it looks uneven when my eyes are open, and then on the other side of it looks quite a bit darker. It's just the way it is. Okay, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. With a fluffy brush, synthetic no less, no patchiness, goes on great. That's really interesting for such a dark color. I think I'm going to do this one. This one. And then I'm going to go with the purple. Well, that's underwhelming. Also underwhelming. I'm going to do it with my other finger. There we go. But I'm going to try this one here, because I want purple right there, and this purple is just not hanging out with my, you know, creasy lid. Okay. I kind of want to bring some of the gold into it, because when I think of a peacock, I think of the blue and the green and the purple and gold. So I'm going to do it. You know what? I'm going to do it under, because if I put it on top, it will 100% transfer. So there's that. And there's this. I'm going to do my brows, do my under eyes, and come back for some finishing touches if we need any. Did my foundation, blush, I put a little lips on, I did some bronzing, and I'm not feeling that I look as crazy. You know what? I think I got 2 looks. They look kind of similar, but when you look up close, they're not. I even did different shapes, and it blended very nice, but let's go with the final touches, the finishing touches. On this eye, I want to bring this mulled wine, oh, not mulled wine, Beaujolais, which is not a mulled wine. Beaujolais is a kind of wine, like a Merlot, that comes out every Christmas. And I just want to put that under the iris. I don't want to smoke it out and bring it down because dark colors under the eye for me will just call attention to the darkness that I have. But I just want it to be a little more hazy. And here will be the test. I might come back later on to see. I found with the Metropolis, I could, put things on the hood, but the hood just opening and closing all day long, the blue color just fell away. So we'll see if it holds up. So that might be it for this eye. Now on this eye, I want to bring the gold in. So I put some gold right here, but I want to put some right in the center. I know if I use the eyeshadow, it will transfer up to my hood in minutes. So I'm going to use this Brilliant Pencil by Marc Jacobs. And this is what I bought it for, and it is a fabulous trick if you want to bring a little bit of this gold right above your iris. And I like to use it with blues and with greens. They really make the color of my eyes pop. So, and here we have blues and greens. Oh, notable, this green shimmer is totally transferred. All right, my immediate conclusions are, 1, you can take a fluffy brush, even a synthetic one, and use that dark color. It does not patch, it does not skip. And remember, I've got hooded, crepey, old lids, and it was beautiful. When I put it on this way, just kind of really packing it in with a more of a flatter brush, it worked okay. It's a little bit denser. It blended great with the green. There were no problems here. So what I'm really going to be looking for is, in a couple of hours, is all of this going to, just from the eye fold hitting each other for several hours, if it just falls off like the Metropolis palette did. So I'm not minding this. I'm kind of digging it. This actually might be a pass, but let's wait for a couple of hours and I'll come back for a final check-in. All right, you guys, I'm back. It's only been a couple of hours and I wanted to play with some eyeliners and for another video I'm doing on this eye. And I kind of reached the point of no return. I cannot leave the house like this. So I'm going to take off my makeup, but I'll give you an update on my feelings here. We did get some of the blue rub off. That was something I thought would happen. However, it is lasting better than the Natasha Denona Metropolis. Those blues and greens, if I applied them in the same manner I applied these, those are kind of all over the place. They really rub off. Now this, I don't know what you call this, turquoisey, the metallic color here, right here, it's like a turquoise green. That's hanging on really well. You might recall I didn't actually put it all the way up here. I put it here and it transferred up, no problem. The blue is still there, but it's really hard to judge on this eye because of that fat pad. So that's not a fair test. This one, it's okay. When the eyes are open, it's still present. When the eyes are closed, it looks a little rubbed off. I don't think the end of the world. My conclusions, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Who wants to just look at my eyes while I'm talking? So my final conclusions, I like this so much more than I thought I would. Remember, initially I didn't even want to buy it because I thought these colors are too dark for me. But I found them to be actually quite vibrant. The browns with the orange work very nicely with the orange or without. The dark blue, much easier than I thought it would be. I'm very impressed. The only problem really is kind of this purple. It's a little iffy. It falls off a little bit. And the orange fell off a teeny bit yesterday. These are lovely. These two I could do without. We all have coppers. We all have golds. Please give us something else. But these two shades are very special. They're a little bit different, but not too different. They feel dry to the touch. They don't have that creamy feeling, but they are not powdery. This is my second Viseart palette. The first one was the Soleil palette, and I had to return it. I love the yellow and the two purples, but that was the only look that would work for me. Again, they gave you like a gold and a champagne or a gold and a copper, a cream color, which I always appreciate, but not when it's such a small palette. And then two colors that were kind of watermelon, cayenne watermelon, And I thought one was a matte, which, okay, I could do that, but one was more of a metallic and the other was a shimmer, and I really couldn't make it work, so I brought it back. And that has been my problem with the smaller palettes of Viseart. I'm not ready to dive into one of the bigger ones, but the smaller ones are half and half shimmer to matte, and I want a better ratio, mattes to shimmer, and this one does it. This is 2 rows of mattes, 1 row of shimmer. One thing I will tell you, this is magnetized, and if you don't handle this carefully, the magnet can kind of pull these out. It's happened a couple of times to me, or maybe instead of folding over like this, I folded like this, and they fell out. Be careful how you close it. I recommend the door on top of the shadow, not the shadow on top of the door. It's risky. So that's going to wrap it up for me for the Viseart Dark edit. I am a fan, passes my test, it's a keeper. So the next question is, am I going to return the Metropolis because this works better for me? It's much less expensive. At the same time, I think they complement each other very well because Metropolis is pretty monotone. It has oranges, we got oranges in here. It has 2 kinds of browns. There's 2 browns in here. I wouldn't say there are 2 kinds of browns. It has the blues. This has 1 blue. It has the greens. This has 1 green. And the olive, actually, so 2 greens going on here. But I think they would complement each other quite a bit. I would like to bring the purples into the Metropolis palette. But if you have to do one or the other and you are hooded and you are interested in the blues, this is the way to go. I'm just not having good luck with the blues with the Metropolis palette with a hooded lid. So those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope I'm helping you make some decisions, and I hope you come back again. In the meantime, I'm wishing you a great